following podcast may contain some adult language. You've been warned.
Welcome to Finding the Narrative, Genesys RPG Podcast. This is a show dedicated to the Genesys Role Playing System, created by Fantasy Flight Games, and produced by Edge Studio. A show in which we, your hosts, have discussed all things Genesys from both the players and a GM's perspective. I am Tony Fanning, and with me, as always, and for one final time, are my good friends and co-hosts, Chris Holmes and Stefan Dragonspawn. How you doing, fellas? Let's start with you, Chris.
Sad, bittersweet, excited about the last episode here, and getting over some COVID here. I got a hot chocolate toddy with the toddy part is Fireball, of course, because Fireball goes good with anything. And cheers to you, my brothers.
Cheers.
100 episodes.
100.
Woohoo! Love you guys.
Love you too. Love you more.
And off to you, Stefan.
Yes. I'm also very sad because, according to Tony, we won't be friends after this anymore. It's the last episode, and
Fuck! I missed that one. What I missed? Fuck!
Had to read between the lines.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
No,
Even I
no,
didn't
no.
know I wrote that in there. Gotta watch the margins.
Yes, exactly. No. It's just the show that's ending, not our friendships, obviously.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, bittersweet. We knew it was coming, so we made it all the way to episode 100.
Yeah, we did.
Which is kind of
Yeah.
cool too. We had fun, we had laughs, we had guests that came over, and we traumatized a little bit.
You did.
You traumatized. Chris and I just swear.
There we go.
I'm
Tony
using
and
the
I,
royal.
we're still fucking brothers from another mother, man. We're still right on there.
Yeah,
You're the one that traumatized him, fucker.
I'm using the royal we. Okay.
Oh, all right.
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
I'm from America.
jeez.
No
That's all
royalty
right.
here. No royalty here.
No, just
Anyway,
royal
How you
pains.
doing? How you doing, Tony?
Yeah. How about you?
I am over the COVID that I am so sorry that I gave you when you stopped by my house, my friend.
Sharing is caring?
I wasn't gonna
Question mark.
say that.
You know. I'll.
That's all right. We
readily
didn't spoon for that long, did we?
No, we didn't. It was just
I mean-
long enough to feel the tip.
What?
Of the dice bag.
Of your beard. Jeez, come on.
That's all it was.
No, I'm doing great. This has been an amazing journey, and I am ready to walk the final few steps down the path until we're done with this. So,
Yeah.
This is episode 100. We found the narrative. Bye, folks.
Bye.
I love the title. I love it. We did. We found the narrative.
Found it.
We did, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have
Totally
a
did.
discussion on that. I think we can ask some of our guests when we step over into the next section of the show.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Let's do that then. All right. Well, here we are. We're calling this section the People of Genesys, or the Gen Peeps. I
Hey,
can't fucking
peeps!
do it.
It's Easter. I get
The
it.
peeps. Yes, I get it now. I'll be a blue peep because I coughing. So first off, I'm going to apologize to everybody if I cough in your ear before I get to the mute button. Sorry. And all of you guys out there that are paying for this podcast, I'm sorry as well. I mean, you get what you pay for. So I'll try and mute when I can. But this is our final show that we want to give a proper send-off, bringing on as many people who have genocided us over the last 100 episodes. The hell do we have on tonight? Tony?
Well,
who's here?
First of all, welcoming our favorite gaming ho, Mr. Daryl Cartier. How you doing, Daryl?
Pretty good. Glad to be on the final episode. Pretty stoked.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
All right.
And we call you the gaming hoe because you can't say no.
That's right. A hoe don't say no. You just got to go.
So whenever we need somebody to play.
Yeah,
Daryl's
like, hole to be filled.
I'm there.
Yep.
There's a hole
Every
to be
time
filled.
anyone asks, I've only ever had him say, sorry, I can't, like one time. And then he even tried to make it work and then got a hold of me and said, I think I can. They got back and said, no, I'm sorry, I can't.
They're putting my lung back in. I might make it, you know.
Yep, right after.
Dude shows up when he's in his deathbed. It's pretty amazing. So, I rolled to despair. He has his wife wheel him in on a respirator, just to roll dice. I mean, it's good stuff. Another one of our longtime persons who's been with us from the very beginning, who was with us when this show was in a concept stage, Matt Stark. Mr. Stark, how are you?
Good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you showing up.
Yes. As well.
Unlike the person who actually helped us start the show, Mr. Pearson, Jamie, he was supposed to be here, but he had Easter dinner with his family that ended up being much later than he had anticipated.
He might make it.
He might drop in later, but
yeah,
unfortunately he wasn't here for the start of this. And also my son Sean is sick, and I have a message from him.
Yeah.
But we've brought on also, there was a period of time where we did a bunch of interviews with people who we weren't familiar with from our Nerds International community, people who had contributed in some way to the Genesys efforts via the what was it called back, the Foundry? What was it called?
Yes.
I think it was the Foundry way back.
Yeah. So and that would be Mr. Darren West. Darren, how are you?
Gentlemen, thanks for having me. It's always good to see your faces, hear your voices.
Yeah, don't say lovely. Stefan's the only one of us that's lovely.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. I work hard on that. There's a reason I have elven blood, you know.
So this is, a celebration of Finding the Narrative as a podcast, but it's also a celebration of our friendship and our games. And I just want to we want to kick this off with going around the table, start with Daryl, then Matt, and then Darren, and we'll pipe in Chris and Stefan and I. We're going to kind of ask you a few questions. And the first one is, how did you get into Genesys? Genesys itself, what was your intro? What was the moment when you decided Genesys is a game I want to play? Daryl?
Actually, if I recall correctly, I think, I could be wrong, I know I played in a Genesys game with you in your Saturday group. That was one of my first experiences. But with the narrative dice system, I believe it was Beyond the Rim with Chris at the helm running it. And it was one of my first experiences with the narrative dice system. And it was just a nice segue right into Genesys, into the fantasy settings. And from there, I just started getting into it, game session after game session, campaign after campaign, no looking back.
Yeah, you were a big part of that play test that we did of our Machina setting.
Yes, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Matt, when was your first Virgin experience with Genesys?
Yeah. When did you pop your narrative dice cherry?
It could be Star Wars.
So yeah, it was Star Wars at Con on the Cob, the game that you ran, Tony, with the infamous Wookiee incident.
Yes.
The incident that shall not be named. No.
No. This incident. This
incident
has been
is hilarious.
This incident has been described from my perspective many times.
Mm-hmm.
Matt,
Now your turn.
how did it go from your perspective?
Well, I actually didn't think anything of it until I did what I did, and I looked around the table, and everyone was just staring at me with mouths wide open. I was like,
What?
yeah, I was like, what? It's just the normal thing, right? We're role playing.
So in character, he got up and got in my face as GM, and everybody at the table, nobody had done anything like this at the table yet. And he was you were playing the gunner, was it? Or no, you were playing the former TIE fighter instructor.
Right.
And there was a Wookiee in there in this bar, and you went up and you tried to cause a distraction by starting something with the Wookiee.
If I remember right, I might have been helping you. I might have been co-GMing. I might have been between you guys. I might have kicked myself backwards to let you get into his face. I don't know. For some reason, I just, okay, this is going down. Something's happening. All right.
I think the best part of it all was the look on everybody else's face, like you said, Matt, because everybody at the table didn't. I know you and I were in the moment.
Yeah.
You were role playing your character. I was role playing the NPC, and we were on the same level. I knew what you were doing, but everybody else at the table was like, "Oh shit, are these two gonna get into
it?" well, Matt has a tendency to be really quiet at long periods of time. He's still a great role player, but from one moment to the next, he'll just do something totally unexpected off the rails, and go, "Wow, that's awesome!"
It was a great moment. And then, of course, the following year, I showed up with the Wampa hat.
Oh my God. I love that hat.
When you guys were walking through the ice caves and the Wampa appears out of nowhere and grabs you, and I threw on the hat and I grabbed you from behind.
I just about pissed myself laughing. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do something, so the whole game I'm sitting there like, oh, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. That was good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Darren, are you there?
I am.
Okay. What was your intro into Genesis or Star Wars even? Probably all of us are going to answer Star Wars, but.
Yeah, Star Wars. Actually, when Star Wars, how I got into it, and the first Genesis game I played was actually a Star Wars converted Fallout game that a friend of mine, GM Phil, ran. And as a kind of a concept to show FFG that it could be done, he ran it at the convention, and it was, my eyes were opened. I was so stunned of how versatile it could be.
Yeah, pretty much around that time, all that were out there as far as like different things for Star Wars were the Edge of the Kingdom, where someone had taken Edge of the Empire and converted it into a fantasy setting, and then Phil's Fallout.
I loved that. That was a really great conversion.
Yep. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was converted even like the evil empire was an evil fantasy empire. It was pretty good.
Yeah, the Darth Vader as a Black Knight kind of thing.
Yeah. So, guys, I mean, Genesis has been a big part of our show from day one, but Darren, you've been kind of writing now for Genesis. Dare I say, first you did contribute with an amazing adventure with Hadra Shard, and now coming soon, Hadra Shard 2. You don't have to give us any release dates if you don't want to. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
It was actually, as you know, the Finding the Narrative group got to playtest part 2, or most of part 2, and then some FFG Edge Studio work came up. Actually, it came up after I started doing some stuff for Studio 404. So I'm happy to have a backup. I have a backup to work, so I'm just trying to knock them down one at a time and do a good job. And
your cup runneth over.
I'm happy that it does so. It's a good problem to have. So
yeah, in fact, I just read recently that Edge Studio is going through another round of open enrollment for playtesters, editors, freelance writers, all that. Is that true?
That is true. I saw that myself. So yeah, you can apply to be a writer or a playtester through that link. I believe it's been shared on a couple of Facebook groups and such. But yeah, if you have the penchant and you work well with others, yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for different perspectives.
I have to work well with others? No, never mind.
Shit. There goes that. Damn it.
The others part that.
I play well with me. I don't know why everybody else has to be involved.
Okay. Just speaking of Studio 404, I know that Gamer Nation Con, I think you played in Brett Bowen's game as well.
Yeah,
it was a game that something that they came up with for Starcana.
Actually, he's playtesting a new game.
Okay.
Kind of a cyberpunk setting. It was called Anarchy in Dragon City.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen some stuff on that. Yeah, that's kind of actually more of like a shadow run, isn't it?
Yeah, actually. I'm not sure how much I should give away, but I can tell you that there's a lot of things that we know and love from playing Cyberpunk, but also just some new takes on things that are just brand new. It's just really, really well done. So if you ever get a chance, check it out.
Yeah,
Coming from those guys soon. So yeah, pay attention to you won't have us to tell you anymore, or Stefan at least, to tell you what's hot on the Genesys wire anymore.
No.
Yeah.
We'll have to check it out.
So my co-hosts, now we've talked amongst ourselves many times about how we got started but share for our listeners again, what got you started, Homie, we'll start with you, in the narrative dice.
Well, I was went to the friendly neighborhood gaming store, met a couple guys, and they had this red book in their hand. It was made out of all paper, not a hardcover or anything like that, but it was a Age of Rebellion beta. And when that came out, I picked it up, I looked at it, and I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting. Star Wars, fucking awesome. And they invited me over, and started playing, and was freaking hooked. Then I think soon after that, Edge of the Empire came out, right after, I think, Gen Con that year. Then I started running it, and I had to unlearn what I had learned about running D-Shift 7D, because this narrative dice system changed the way that I've run my games, and I've become a better dungeon master because of it. And I am a dungeon master still. I'm not a game master. I'm a dungeon
I understand. Master. I've seen the whips and chains at your house.
Oh yeah. You go.
And
we don't talk about that.
Sorry. I'm sure they would just mistake deliveries from Amazon. Amazon sends the wrong messages. They can't differentiate what it means to be a dungeon master.
Yeah.
That's where all those things have gone. I thought, well, I just wrong address I put on Amazon stuff.
And then I found the what is it? D20 Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Found that website, and then I hooked up with, and then I saw the Gathering of Dorks. That's how you and I kind of met there, Tony. And then from there, then we started talking Genesys, and then when we met at Con and a Cobb, that's when all this started too. But yeah, I mean, that was back in whenever the Age of Rebellion beta came out. That's when I started it. It was probably 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah. Long time.
I don't know. Long time. Yeah. How about you, Stefan?
See, I think, like Tony says, it was through the Star Wars system. But when I started Star Wars, most of the books had come out already in that edition. I I figured myself like, I remember when the first Star Wars role-playing game came out, West End Games, the whole D6 system came out. I played and DM'd that a lot with my friends back then. And when the D20 version came out, I wasn't that interested in that. And then I heard about this other editions, like, it won't be as great as the whole D6 system. But when I finally met up with you guys the first time at Con on the Cob, that's when I actually learned a lot about it when Tony ran his game with it. So, fell in love with it there and kept up with it. And Jamie had turned me on to a podcast called Dice for Brains. And
that's a good one.
Yeah, and they started their first couple of seasons was all about playing the GM and players running through Star Wars Force and Destiny. And I just love how these guys interacted and used wild ideas for boost dice and triumphs and threats and stuff. And how they, of course, they ask for boost dice sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, I'm borrowing that. Yep, I'm thinking of stuff to do like that. It's like,
so we can blame them for creating a monster.
Pretty much. And I know Jamie
guys are listening to this. Fuck you. Yeah. No, just kidding.
Yeah. And I know Jamie had one point had mentioned that how he finds that the way at least back then, the imaginative ways I used boost and triumphs was awesome. It's like all inspired by them. It's like trying to think outside the box, outside the standard tables, if you can, that fits the story. As well as when you're a GM, how to use threat and despair sometimes. So to try to tighten the screws on the players, and then that podcast even did a Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts take using Genesys, which was pretty cool when I listened to them. So they were doing a homebrew like that. They haven't been very active, I think, recently, but that's my first intro, and haven't stopped. So, give me the boost dice. You want more boost dice? I'll give you more boost dice too if I'm the GM.
Got your boost dice right here.
Always beg for boost dice. That's what I learned from this podcast.
Yeah.
we got the gaming hoe, and we got the boost dice pimp.
Yep.
That's right.
I'm the hoe and the pimp, depending on which position.
Yeah, you know all the positions. We know.
Oh, yeah.
The hell does that make us, Tony? I don't know. We'll come back to that one.
John's.
The boom mic holder and the fluffer.
Wow.
For me, it was an interesting journey. So I had gone into my game store, and I had been looking at Edge of the Empire, the hardcover, and had been looking at it. And my kids, we did family game night. My two sons and my daughter-in-law, they were all wanting to do something new. My youngest son, Sean, had only ever played Pathfinder. And my son Zach had remembered that I had run lots of different games, and he remembered when I ran Star Wars. His wife was becoming a huge Star Wars fan, and he's like, "Dad, can you run Star Wars for us?" And I'm like, "I don't want to run D20 Star Wars again. It's broken. It don't work. Force doesn't work in it. It sucks." And so I started looking, and I almost bought Saka edition, which I had never played. I'm like, this is just D20 again. And then I saw Edge of the Empire, and I'm like, well, this is interesting. So then I bought the hardcover, started listening to podcasts on how to play it. Started with Order 66. Shout out to those guys. You guys have done a phenomenal job for over the past decade of producing and more of producing things. I just family game night. I started running the Under the Black Sun adventure for my kids and my daughter-in-law.
That's a good one.
And so I never really got to play it until another GM came along in my group, and that was you, Chris, being in my group, another GM who could run Star Wars or Genesis for me. All that time prior, I had always been running it from day one. And actually, my first time playing it was my first time podcasting. I played over at the Redemption Podcast, did a single guest episode They had showed up at a local convention and recording there. I played as a Hut gangster, and it was a lot of fun. But that was my first time podcasting also, and when I got the bug, so to speak.
Nice.
This was right before our convention that we met and started building Finding the Narrative.
Cool.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, Darren, I have a question for you, just personally here. Writing for Genesys. I know we've talked about the fact that they're doing this open call, and there's kind of this ongoing quest for more content. It's part of why our show is kind of shutting down, is that there's just not a tremendous amount of official content. But I know there's more coming. We've got Twilight Imperium on the way. We've got Sam said there's more books coming. It's not the only reason why we shut down. It's just a small part of it. But for you, writing for Genesys and writing for the at now Edge Studio and once was Fantasy Flight, how's that experience? Is that, would you say, pleasant, harrying?
Humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, it's a little surreal to be writing with Edge Studios, but everyone they have is very professional and creative. So far it's just been an amazing experience. So at this point in time, I just want to make sure I'm doing a good job. So
yeah.
so that they'll ask me back. So
right.
There's a little bit of pressure there. You can't just go with the same old. So that's good. But I love it. I recommend it.
Cool. All right. Stefan or Chris, one of you guys want to tackle this question that we wrote for Daryl?
Yeah. So Daryl, when you be in a gaming hub and you game with a lot of folks, right, and a lot of gaming groups, what kind of vaccinations do you recommend for people?
All of them?
Personally speaking, Pfizer. I'm not sure how to answer that question. Wear a condom, especially around Stefan.
Oh,
righty then. I'll drink to that.
Now,
right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right.
Cheers.
I'm just filling mine up as we speak. Cheers, gentlemen.
Oh, sorry, Daryl. I threw that curveball in there for you.
Well, it's fair. The few games I've actually missed is because of whatever health reason or cold or God knows what I picked up. So again, apologies for that, guys.
Yeah, it's all right.
No.
It's all right. Yeah, our first con on the Cobb, you ended up having to have your appendix out, wasn't it?
No, it was my gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
And dude, had it been 2 or 3 days later, I'd have been on the roadway there.
Literally in stitches.
Unlucky.
No, that's it. I was all ready to have him drive from Montreal to my place, pick me up. Yeah, and then it's like, nope, can't make it. He's trying to insist, no, I'll be fine. Just as soon as you stay home, you don't want to get sick away from home in another country. No, I just took my car and drove over.
Honestly, it's a day's surgery. They give you like a week off. So 2 or 3 days later, I'd have been okay to travel. And that's what I was booking on. But things got complicated and I had to stay, of course. Knowing my luck, despair. Yeah. Here we go. Wait another week.
Despair Daryl.
Exactly.
Yeah, you totally rolled
the moniker, Despair Daryl.
But at least you're here because you took the extra time. So you're still around.
That's right.
So
there we
go.
Alive and kicking. Yeah.
Exactly.
So no,
but then the following year, though, you joined us the following year there.
Oh yeah.
Damn right.
We welcomed you with open arms.
Oh yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of booze.
Yes.
A lot of
First time I got introduced to maple whiskey. Thank you, fuckers. You addicted me to it.
I still have 2 bottles with your name on it for both of you. So
you probably end up having to ship them.
Well, I'll tell you, on my way back from the East Coast last week, I almost fucking made it. I almost fucking went to Canada. I'm driving past Buffalo. I missed my turn. Should have turned left. Continue to go. I was enjoying
Albuquerque.
I was freaking enjoying the Audible book I was listening to, man. Terminus by what's his name? Klein, I think. Peter Klein.
Peter
Great
Klein.
fucking book. And I'm going. All of a sudden, I see, like, goddamn, that kind of looks like Canadian
Niagara.
border. Oh shit! Last exit before Canada. I should probably get off here.
Where's the limit?
Turned around. I was in the Niagara Falls. Fuck. That was great. Oops. So yeah, I made it.
Couple of hours for me. I could have met you down there.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I might have texted Tony while I was pulled over and said, "Shit, man, I should have swung by Daryl's PO box, picked up his shit."
Oh gosh.
Anyways.
Oh yeah. So over the years, we've had a lot of good moments on our show with Genesys. A lot of good moments together, and I asked I asked those of you that I talked to, and I hope Stefan asked you if he was the one to talk to you, to kind of drum up something that kind of is most memorable for you. Genesys, narrative dice, gaming, whatever. And I'll start this time. With me, it was the very first time that I sat down with most of this group at a table and rolled dice. It was, to me, it was like finding the family that I had never had. Chris and Stefan and Jamie and Matt and Matthew, if he ever gets on tonight, all you guys, you sitting around that table looking back at me when I was running something, or me sitting looking at you while you were running something, and just all of us sitting together. To me, that very first time, it was, I found my place in the universe, and I kind of felt like I'd found my orbit. You know, I'm no longer a comet loose in space just shooting through. I kind of found a place to orbit. So, and I really,
coming every 76 years.
Well, I mean, I got to come sometime. God damn, I'm pent up.
Oh, there it is.
Shit. But anyhow, that was it for me. Daryl,
Awesome.
how about you?
I've had a lot of memorable experiences with you guys. Gaming, like I said, it's been either FTN run or FTN on another network. I would say Shadow of the Beanstalk was one of my most memorable ones. Tony was running that, and I believe Chris played, and it was Jamie playing. I don't remember which android, if I'm correct, or was he a clone? I can't remember.
Christmas.
Yes, Christmas. And then you're playing. Right. Chris was playing the Russian. What was his name? It wasn't Yuri. It was Vlad, or what was it?
I don't know. It's some detective. I was a detective. I think I know where you're going with this too.
And I was playing a Looney Courier, which I patented heavily after the Belters from The Expanse, man. I was hitting the accent like that, you know, for the Belter, Belter Lora, man. And I was just laying it on thick, and I
fucking nailed that character, dude.
Yeah,
you nailed that character.
I had read the books, I'd watched the shows, and I said, well, is there much of a difference between a Belter and a Looney? I'm like, not so much. And I just incorporated the lingo, and it was just a fun time. Tony had us rolling, and it was awesome from beginning right to the end. It was a roller coaster of fun.
The adventure I had written was 48 hours to midnight, and it was over on the brewery. It's still
on brewery, right?
I don't know if he still has that up. I know he's taken a lot of
that stuff. You can
ask him
for
down.
the links to it too. I think.
He does have it. It's just he has to ask for permission. Yeah, he has links.
But we did have a really good time with that. I started that off, was kind of a noir murder mystery, and then it just kind of went from there. And you guys, Daryl, I must say, like Chris said, you really nailed that character. That was a fun character from the start. So
yes, boss man.
You know, I'll tell you. And when a player gets into a character like that, it creates an atmosphere around the table, over Skype, call it what you will, whatever the fuck, right? just it kind of relaxes everybody else. It's like, oh man, he could do it. I could do it. I feel comfortable. I could kind of do it. I could get in my character a little bit too. So that was great. Daryl.
Well, I'd seen you guys do it effortlessly. How many times have I seen Tony slide into a character and just role play him off the, like easy? And the same thing with Chris. And I'm like, I've always had that hard time doing it. It's been one of the few times where I just found my niche and bang, right away. Yeah, I had no issues.
Yeah, you did. You did great.
A lot of fun.
Well, the liquor helped.
Liquor always helps.
I don't think he needed liquor, man. He did good. He felt that character, but there are just some characters that you create that you just can just slip into, and it's good.
Yep. I'm going to interject in here because I think this is a good time to bring up the message that Sean sent me tonight, because that was one of the things he highlighted, Daryl. Okay. When I asked Sean if he had any message he wanted to share with our community of listeners, and that he said the show, coming on the show and playing with you guys has been and playing some fun characters has been amazing for me. He goes, my favorite character is the Kobold Trapsmith I just got done playing, which that character, Sean playing that character had me and Chris just rolling through the whole thing. The Kobold was amazing. And then Sean
the fact that Sean was in character.
Oh yeah,
the whole freaking time we would ask him a question, but he would answer as that you. It's like, fuck, dude, how are you doing that? That's so awesome. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, he said the system has been wonderful in helping him grow as a player, and I think that's another thing that the people forget about Genesys. That when you play Genesys or Star Wars as a player, it facilitates growth in being a part of the adventure in ways that some systems don't. A lot of times it's the DM or the storyteller or whatever dictating to you what's happening in a scene. And one of the things about Genesys that it does is allows you to dictate a portion of that more so than any other system, I think. And he said, and he hopes that listening to him play helps others grow as well. And thanks to all of us for letting him join our fun. So
he's been a great addition to our little APs that we were doing on the show. Glad to have him on.
And to pull on your comment there, Tony, about Genesys improving players and having them improving themselves as players and be able to do more and be more active. Is it more of a narrative dice thing because there's the multi-axis?
Yes.
And it gets the players more involved to contribute to the story more than anything, right? I mean, you guys have comments about that, right? Okay. Yeah. That's
open forum. Pipe in, everybody.
Yeah, pipe in. What do you guys think?
I would say
not just that. There's also the motivations. That another thing that can help define the character and help you maybe play certain aspects that you wouldn't think of. It's not just an alignment. It's part of the personality.
I was thinking more of I believe the system engages the players more than just rolling a die. Did I hit or not? Like a D20 system, right? You either hit or miss with those. What do you guys think?
Fail.
I think so, because you know what, when it comes to, and I don't want to bash other systems, not my idea, but some of them are straight linear. You play them, you roll the dice, it dictates what happens. Here, at least, the way the mechanics are set up with advantage, the threats, etc., all that, despairs, God knows I know about them, triumphs, they force you to think. I mean, they give you, I find it makes you have to think outside the box. You say, what can I do with this advantage? What can I do with the threat? Sometimes the GM will come around and say, well, I have an idea, and other players will help you. And sometimes you can think yourself, hey, what can I do with this? And then you come up with something, you think outside the box, and then bam, how can I influence the story? And it's all about a story, creating a story, beginning to end, and then putting your 2 cents or your thoughts into it. Yeah, adding to it.
Yeah, I think you nailed that, Daryl.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, one of the best ways it's been put has been player agency. You're giving the players the ability, you're empowering them to take part in the narrative, not just watch a narrative go by. And like you said, Daryl, that was a great example. It's not a binary you pass, fail, or you hit or you don't hit. There are so many axes of, advantage but fail, despair but succeed, triumph and despair, all in these same things. It really gives the players a chance to create. And even players who don't feel like they're good at ad-libbing, I've seen them engage more. There are some players who prefer to be prepared, but having that advantage or whatever that is really helps engage them more, instead of looking down at their phone till their turn comes around or whatever.
Well, that's it. Because even if you don't have an idea, the table can help, and that can spark you with something. Okay, I fail with a triumph. What do I do with a triumph? I don't know. Someone throws out a couple of ideas. Oh no, I got a great idea now. There you go, and that helps the juices flow. I find, I mean, sometimes I think of other systems. Yes, they're just pass fail. Some have a bit graininess. I think of Savage Worlds, where you could have a success, but your wild dice is a 1. Some people have said, like, have used this mechanic. Like, well, it's a 1, so you succeed, but something bad happens.
But that's always been intrinsic upon the GM.
That's it.
Do, and that's what
exactly.
I think that the narrative dice systems have done in ways that others haven't. Is that it's not always intrinsic upon the GM to be inventive with the dice results. The players get a chance to do it more in this format than in any other, in my opinion.
Right. That was one of the awakenings for me as a GM, DM, was coming to that realization that it's just not my story being told from this side of the screen. It's everybody's story. And I had that epiphany when I started to run Star Wars years ago. Now, I've always kind of had that feeling that, we're all playing together, right? We're all here taking our Saturday nights, 4 hours on a Saturday night, 6 hours on a Saturday night, whatever. But it wasn't until I started running the narrative dice system that it was really, I don't care whether it's that adversarial feeling around the table just went away from me, and I don't know, it was just, that was one of the awakenings I had by running the system. Makes me a better gamer in that sense, both sides of the table, to be honest.
Well, so Genesys definitely tries to reduce the adversarial aspect. It's not the GM versus the players. A lot of other game systems try to downplay that, of course.
And some do it really well too, where where the GM never rolls a die, and those systems are out there. Now, that was a great side, by the way, going off down that tangent, guys. I loved it. But I'm still on our best moments here, and we haven't heard from Matt in a while.
I don't know if it's Genesys related, but it's the Wednesday night group. Like, that's the one group that I try to go to every single time. Like, I'll like drop other stuff to try to play that game group, because
awesome.
You guys are freaking awesome in that game. I love you guys.
Thank you, man. I love you.
But as far as Genesys related goes, I mean, besides the Star Wars game at Con Macabre, it has to be the it wasn't Looney Tunes, but it was like a cartoon. The actual play.
It was the Speed Buggy. Speed Buggy.
That was the best chase I've ever been in. I'll be honest. In any game system, anytime.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm glad you like that. And I have to give props to my daughter Alexi for helping me with some of the power-ups, the power-up ideas.
The Mario Kart edition.
The Mario Kart kind of conditions and shit, and whatever. And the fact that I threw some of the Scooby-Doo characters in there or whatever. Not Scooby-Doo, I had Velma in there for
a few characters, different ones.
I had Snagglepuss and Quick Draw. Just a couple of those things in there, but the
That was a great game. Fabulous event.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Matt, because I had a blast running that, and the fact that whoever won it had just their bumper.
Yeah.
I think you crossed the line with your bumper. I don't know what the fuck.
One of us, just barely won.
Yeah, I don't even remember who won it. I just remember it was a fun game.
It was Jabberjaw carrying his car going as he was going across the bottom.
It was just,
making car noises as he was going across.
Yeah.
Shit. That was good stuff, man.
That was hilarious. I had a fun time. I'll tell you, I had a fun time prepping for that too.
Was that the first of our Saturday morning cartoons?
No. The previous one I did was my Johnny Quest.
He did Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest. That's right.
And then Tony, you did the
you did Thundar.
Thundar the Barbarian, which was great too.
Yes.
Enjoyed playing the Sorceress. Just animating an old ram truck.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Making puns all the way.
All along,
that was a neat series.
There are other generic systems out there, but Genesys, made it real easy for us to write those little one-shots that are just goofy, frivolous. Hey, how do I stat Jabberjaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he really didn't need a whole lot of stats for him. He needed a piloting or driving or whatever, and I don't know, just a couple of things for it. And that was made easier because it was a scenario just about racing. So we're not planning characters that might have to deal with investigation or anything. So even better. Straightforward. That was awesome.
Well, I know your experience with us has been less, Darren, but do you have a favorite moment?
A favorite moment with all of you?
Or from our show?
That's
you were
every
listening?
moment.
Oh,
my favorite.
Oh, listen to this.
Let's invite him again.
Okay, you can show up for episode 101.
There's going to be a 101? Awesome.
No.
I'll just show up.
You just you.
You can. We'll give you the Skype address.
Just gonna show up. Hey. My favorite moment with this group was actually when you ran a Hadrashard spinoff in Realms of Terranoth.
Oh, okay. For our for kind of like the that was for our segment of the show that we normally do, Advantageous Threats.
Right.
So yeah.
Your advantageous threats have been the highlight of some of my listening time. Just the group, your group as a whole is really good at ad-libbing, and to see you take just a little bit of what you knew, and because the system is so generic, and you just created this creepy, great, short thing, and I was creeped out, and I knew what was going to happen. So. That's amazing, and everybody does their voices, and it was amazing. And then of course our playtest together, Jamie never breaking character, everybody staying in character was really fun. So yeah, those were my two favorite moments with the cast.
Awesome, that's great.
I think it was Chris that never broke character.
I tried not to.
I don't know. You did really good. With your Dwarf Alchemist.
It's hard for me to do female voices, but that one was pretty fun.
You did.
Right.
Yeah, Stefan, you got one?
Oh, a bit like Daryl, there's so many that in the top 10, but I think my very favorite moment with you guys was I just stepped away from helping Jamie with the RPG brewery. And didn't have anything, and then you asked me if you wanted to join, if I wanted to join you and Chris on Finding the Narrative.
Okay, good. Whew. Glad you completed that sentence.
In the dungeon at Chris's place.
I almost spit up, man. That was awesome.
I was flabbergasted. I never thought that you were considering asking anyone to join. and to be on the short list kind of thing. It's like, wow,
we were just kind of hitting one of those stagnant moments where the show was just kind of stagnating a little bit in my mind, and I thought to myself, we needed a new element, and we were investigating, looking. I'll get to that in a second. We were investigating, looking at ways to freshen up the show. We were looking at new subjects, and it dawned on me that we had a third person that was available, that was in our community, that had podcasted, that we both enjoyed having in, and would give a complete third perspective, different completely from Chris and I, who are very much too much alike sometimes.
And we had you on, and we had you on a few times before that, and enjoyed we enjoyed the the banter that all three of us had, and just thought it would be a nice change up.
Right. Because not to take anything away from Jamie, but the brewery was always his show that I just helped out with. So I didn't feel too bad leaving, and he was okay with that. We all talked about it. We agreed to see other nerds. So and,
that's good stuff.
That's what I told him at the time. So when you asked me, he's like, let me think about it. Yes. What the hell? Go. Let's jump in. And it's been a hell of a ride, and I loved it. You definitely made me feel welcome. It wasn't just your show that I joined. It's like, no, it's now our show.
Oh yeah, and we made that perfectly clear to start with. That if it had ever gotten to this point where it was where one of us, any of us, decided, hey, I think it's time.
Yeah,
that we're done. It's not going to be two of us continuing on. It's all or none, right?
Yeah.
So
all for
very
one.
very much your show as well. So
I definitely felt that way. So thank you guys. Good. It was an enjoyable ride.
You did. So, you did.
It kind of
So I just want to get this straight. When you thought of freshening up a show, you thought about adding Dragonspawn to this. Did you also have to freshen up the rating from PG-13 or?
No, it was always R rated.
He definitely injected like an energy into the podcast.
Oh, I injected many things.
He definitely injected a sexual energy. Let's just say what it is. He injected a sexual energy to the show that was not there.
Right.
I mean, come on. Let's just admit it.
More like dirtied up the show. It made it gritty. But I agree. That was such a great. Once the three of you were on together, I was like, now I'm hooked. So.
That moment when you first, I think for me, that the moment that kind of solidified the new energy of the show was the first time you had Chris and I both too embarrassed to speak because you had said something, and it was great because at that moment we're both just like, well, just let him go.
Right.
Because it was good radio. It was great radio. It would, to me.
And we still had some listeners. So after that, it's okay, doing something right. Some of them are sticking around.
To me, it's almost been like being on two different shows. When Chris and I started this show, it was just the two of us talking about a game we loved. And it was, we were nerding out on it, talking like a couple of old friends who'd known each other for 20 years because that's how we felt when we met each other. But it wasn't a show until it became a production and a show that we put together to entertain others until you came in, I don't think. And then it became also about entertaining people, I think, when you came in, Stefan, and that injected us with your disease.
All the lavish musical numbers, the the fireworks, the colorful
Stephanie showing up on the show.
Oh my God!
OMG!
Did someone say my name? Here I am, my darlings.
Is she here?
I love you. I love you. I kiss you in naughty places.
Oh my God!
I can
Goodbye.
see Matt
Bye-bye.
ducking behind a column right now.
Oh, Matt, Matthew, there you are, my handsome blonde barbarian. Call me. And there she goes.
That's
That's
good
right.
stuff.
Mhm.
Oh man, homie, how about you? You got a favorite moment?
Oh my God.
Don't cop out. And say the whole thing.
There are so many
Mhm.
favorite moments. But I must say, putting together the what do you call it, Middle Earth game for Kana Nakab a few years ago and running it for these chuckleheads
Where we
was
co-GM'd?
probably where we co-GM'd. Did it in Genesis. We both basically we played a dwarf that would change personalities overnight. They slept. Oh, then I would play this personality. Tony would GM, and then we'd flip it the next night, and then I would GM. And that's how we decided to flip it, right?
And I didn't know about your sections that you wrote, and you didn't know about my sections that I
did
wrote
not
at the
know.
adventure. We just had this
had an
transition
idea.
point. We
We're
got to
like,
get
this
from
is-
A to
I'm gonna
B. And
Right.
you
I'm
just
going to
gotta
get us there. I'm
from
going to
B
get
to
us to
C.
the cave or whatever, and you get us into the cave, and then once we're in the cave, I'm going to run this part. So we did it like that. It was challenging as a GM to do that. And just the response from the table. I think we had Jamie. Matt, you played in that? I think you played in that, didn't you? Can't remember whether you were there or not.
No,
First
I
or
wasn't in
second
that
con?
one.
First or second?
But I think Jamie Blaine was in there because Blaine's character was the one that grabbed the freaking book and just jumped into the portal
That's
at the
right.
very end, right?
I played in that one.
Yeah, that was one of the best moments. Though I must say, my number one moment has got to be the advantageous threats with Kill Zach one shot and your fucking ancient dragon. Now, granted, it was a little not quite Genesis rules because I did add the lethal blows, talents on there, made it a little easier for him to crit him, one shot him, but it was fun. That one just keeps popping up. I don't know. Why.
That's okay.
But there's so many of them. I don't know. But yeah, it's But that. It had to be that running that game with you co-GMing, man, was just brilliant. It was fun. So much fun.
Man. Yes, that was for me a great time, a challenge, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we haven't lost people. It's just shifting around. So how much we want to talk about now the future. Now, finding the narrative. We found it. We're done. We found the narrative.
Is there one last question there that you had on the topic? No.
Do you want to ask that?
You added it in. You ask it.
Oh, well, okay. Before I get into the future of Genesis, there is this question just for Matt. Matt, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, Matt. How much money will it take to let Stefan snuggle up in your beard for a night?
Hey, $20 is $20.
That's the best answer ever.
Hashtag Pearson special.
All right. So I'll make sure I have $20 spare laying around. Maybe 40 for an extra night.
Remember, that's 50 Canadian, Steph.
Right. I'll start a GoFundMe.
The beard snuggling. That's great. No, I just kind of wrote in a couple of fun questions here, but no.
That's hilarious.
We did find the narrative, and I'll get into that in a minute, I think, in my opinion. But let's talk about how much Genesis you think, as individuals, you think it's going to factor into the future of your gaming. For me, I'm going to continue to run it. I'm going to continue to play it. I'm excited for new books coming out. I can't wait for them to do a Tannhauser setting. For me, it's always going to be a part of my gaming repertoire. I play D&D, 5e. I run it regularly. I run other games. The Cube, we talked before we started recording about how the Alien RPG has kind of absorbed my group. the Wednesday night group, and it's
Infected,
been
you mean?
Yeah, absorbed, infected, in
Killed.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Host. I don't. What's it hosted? I can't.
Soon.
Infested. That's
Infested.
That's it.
Panicked. Most fucking definitely. My God. One freaking encounter and everybody's panic level went to 10. Did you hear that, Darren? Good Lord, man. One encounter, we went, I think I had a panic level of 2, and it went to 10 in like 3 rounds.
Yeah, everyone's
If that.
panicking each other around, passing it
Maybe
around.
maybe 1 round.
Yeah, it was a couple rounds at the table, but yeah, everybody panicking, making others panic. We had multiple players doing the I shriek and run for hiding and make everybody else panic kind of thing.
Oh
Yep.
my God, yes, so true.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one
Cumul-
game that splitting the party is actually smart.
Sometimes, yeah.
Cumulative panicking, yeah.
Tell you later.
Yeah. But yeah, anyhow, I know Genesys for me is going to be a big part of my gaming future. It's always going to be one of my go backs. I mean, I'm already talking about running a future Star Wars for the Wednesday night group or my Saturday night group or whatever. But for you guys individually, and I'd like to start with my co-hosts. What do you think is going to be the future of Genesys for you?
Well, I'm
Stefan,
going
go
to
ahead.
I'm going to keep playing it. There's great stuff already there, and of course, I worked on my own little adaptation of the old FFG IP, Dragonstar, which I like. I think I've tried to capture some of that aspect of that setting, but giving it the Genesys twist. So I'm going to try and keep playing in that, as long as I can rope some players into it. And
We all know Darren's down.
and introducing little aspects of that role playing into other games, even if I'm not playing Genesys. I mean, I'm running another game alternating Wednesdays from your Aliens game and trying to get a little bit of that narrative, even though it's a different dice system, to get that greeniness and having players engage as much as possible. So it's definitely something that always be in the forefront. Whether it's official content or not, there's enough stuff out there that I can sink my teeth in and either adapt or work into and play. So
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Chris?
Well, for me, one of my buddies, Kyle, he's been playing Twilight Imperium, the board game, with his boy and his brother, just almost every weekend and whatever. And his boy is just loving it. And he saw that there's a setting coming out for Genesys for that, and that'll probably be the next thing that I run. It will be for him, his boy, maybe our Friday night D&D group when we we can maybe take a break from that and maybe run it for them or whatever. Kept maybe kicking it off with the what is it, the free RPG Day adventure would be a great one to kick off a campaign on, because there's potential to
adventure.
I see Darren, you're there just giving the okay on that one. And you could really, based on how that adventure goes, could really kick off, make a really neat campaign. And that setting seems to be very rich and a lot of cool stuff, a very cool space opera that I'd probably run. If there's going to be Genesys in my future, to be that. And of course, Tannhauser, if there's a Tannhauser setting, I sure the hell hope so. Would definitely run that, most definitely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you and I have discussed
Cthulhu
multiple
Tannhauser.
times. We've discussed multiple times that Weird Wars is always a setting that's just it gets you. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does.
So
It
yeah,
does.
I look forward to that.
And especially reading the what was it, the Peter Klein books, 14, The Fold, and Terminus, and now I think I'm reading Dead Moon, as that Cthulhu I've got that on my brain.
Cthulhu-esque.
Modern Cthulhu, I just got it on my brain now, man. I'm like, ah. So,
all right.
about
We're
you,
going in
Tony?
reverse order here. So, Darren, how about you next?
Yeah.
What about you? I know you've got a big future with Genesys coming.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be stopping Genesys anytime soon. And as somebody who playtested Twilight Imperium, just yes. I mean, yes. I actually
all caps, exclamation point,
Right.
exclamation point.
right. I will definitely be running some Twilight Imperium when that book comes out. Those who got to playtest are all very excited about what's coming down the pipe. And I was gonna run a Star Wars game, but after Twilight Imperium, I'm probably gonna run a Twilight Imperium game as my full one. Now I'll still run other games, but like Stefan said, everything I do has Genesys narrative added to it. Even my Savage Worlds games, I'm like, okay, you got 3 raises. Tell me what you do with them.
I've been doing that. I've been doing it on my D&D game too. You know, you miss or you roll the nat 20, something special happens. You miss or fail by 5 or 10. You know, that's kind of what I've been doing with that too. So yeah.
But yeah, Genesys is probably going to be one of my. There's a lot coming, so I'm super excited.
Nice.
Cool. Very cool.
Matthew, wake up. Tell us how you feel.
You know, I'm not exactly sure because I've never run any Genesys or Star Wars.
But do you plan on it?
If I was going to, I would be doing Shadow of the Beanstalk. So cyberpunk is kind of my genre of choice. But you know, currently I'm running like a monthly one shot of just random backlog games that I've never played before, and I'm really enjoying that right now. So honestly, who knows? Maybe I'll get to it this year.
Cool.
You probably your next experience is probably going to be when I run a Wednesday night Star Wars game again. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
If you like Android, you should download that free game off their site, the Night on the Town game. It comes with all the rules to play it.
I haven't heard of that. I'll have to look that up.
Yep. Super fun.
Is it on Edge's website now, or is it still on Fantasy Flight?
I think it's still on Fantasy Flight's site. I'd have to check, but yeah, it's a free adventure that they've run at Gen Con a couple of times, and it comes with pre-generated characters and everything you need to know about running the game. And it's written by Phil Majewski. He's really good, so definitely play.
Holy shit! What's that smell? Something fucking reeks. Oh, Jamie, you joined us.
Yep.
It's a Thulian Cyclops.
Yep. I managed to fart and drop a condom. That's what you're smelling.
Well then.
And just like that, the show became classy.
Oh God.
Glad I could help.
Instantaneously, yeah. So we'll get the question
Put
was
the
that we were
ass
getting around
back in
to.
class.
The question we were getting around to, and we were getting to Daryl, who was going to be last, but we'll ask you after. And that is the future of Genesys in your gaming or narrative dice, Star Wars. Daryl, you ever going to run a game? I mean, any game ever? Really? I mean, just
Come on,
anything.
step up.
Really? I don't know. Fucking Monopoly. You gonna run
put
something?
so much money on the 5e stuff. Dragon Heist. What levels 1 to 5? I plan on running that one day. The D&D is not so much the obstacle. I'm not the most tech savvy person, so it's me just wrapping my mind around Unity, the platform, the virtual gaming platform. Once I master that, and I'm working on it, it will happen soon. The actual once I can implement that, that's my biggest hurdle. The rest is not so bad. Running the damn module, once I know how to tackle Unity, won't be an issue.
So
Yeah,
more
but
tipping the toe in the water for you.
Well,
Yes.
You haven't taken the plunge yet.
that's what
I've done a couple intro sessions. I've talked to Steph about it, getting some insight from him. I've got some from you. I think the biggest thing is my end is anxiety, fear.
But my
on a
biggest
more serious
advice is my biggest
plunge.
advice to you is that do or do not. There is no try.
Exactly.
Just
do
it.
and just, you know, what I might do, I'm planning on eventually
way
is
to
just
doing it.
going and playing around with it myself, and then maybe getting some help from you guys who've run it so much, like Chris, Tony, Jamie.
Yeah. The best way you learn
Steph,
is just by doing.
Or it's just having somebody on and just one person and just walking them through it with you. Having somebody as a player doing mock combats, doing whatever, bringing in maps, and then just doing that one or two times, and then at least you got the basics. Once you got the basics, then you can run somebody through. Even if the first session or two is not that good, it is what it is. And getting back to your previous session about Genesys, I wholeheartedly agree with you and Chris. It's been something I've been harping on since they've outsourced to Edge Tannhauser. I've been wanting that thing. I've been screaming at the top of my lungs. Go Tannhauser, please bring it.
Well, I mean, nobody can hear you up there in the Great White North anyway. So.
Nobody listens to me anyways. My internet hamsters aren't running as fast in their little wheel. That's a big joke. Canadian internet run down hamsters. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. It's also a Canadian accent, eh?
Well,
I thought they ran on meese.
It's moose. We both said at the same time, man.
Moosin.
Or Canada geese. Those things are deadly. So
don't mess with
and they're assholes.
Don't mess with Canadian geese, man.
No, exactly.
That's how
all our meanness and negative energy goes into the geese.
That's right. You got to watch out for their shit.
And then you send them south. That's the shitty part. You send them south.
And they shit all over my goddamn golf course.
Yep. That's right. And they come back up here, recharge, go back.
Chris, I'm FedExing
it's okay though.
FedExing you.
It's okay though, because the Canadians end up apologizing for them.
What?
Sorry,
sorry.
So Jamie, we've been sitting here BSing about a lot of things about how we first got into Genesys / Star Wars, and then we were talking a little bit about what were the highlights.
Talking smack about you.
Either gaming with us as a group or playing Genesys or Star Wars anytime. Do you have like a moment that kind of jumps out to you, or an adventure that you played in, or even a show that you listen to of ours that stands out as kind of a quintessential moment for you?
The first time we all met at Con on the Cobb, and we all sat down and played in your Star Wars game. I think everybody here except for Zog. I apologize, Zog. I don't know you. I'm
Darren.
Jamie, by the way. Hi.
Darren, Jamie, Darren.
Yeah.
I introduced myself as a guy that farts out condoms. How you doing? No, that was really cool because I had already really been into Star Wars for a while at that point in the new system with the narrative dice and everything. And then when we all finally met for the first time, and we played in your Star Wars game, and then Chris ran that Primeval Thule that was converted over to narrative. That was just really cool. It kind of, for the sake of this group, really made a good cohesion amongst this that, made lifetime friends amongst this system.
Mm-hmm. Right. That was kind of my answer too. And then we just got into what are we going to be doing, as far as future gaming for you. I know gaming for you in the last couple of years has been kind of by the wayside, but you're getting back into it and you're feeling that itch. And Genesys or Star Wars, which do you think you want to play more in the near future? What's got your bug?
I've been bullshit. Well, let's see.
Deadlands Genesys.
Let me count the ways of all the different fucking games my ADD ass wants to play.
Yeah.
I was just
now, as far as Genesys goes, I've been bullshitting with Daryl quite a bit about it. I've really been looking at Terranoth again. Genesys, to me, of all of the systems, still captures magic in a fantasy setting the best. So
Fair.
I'm really looking towards probably getting back and running a Terranoth game again for a little while. It's a cool setting too. It's a little high fantasy for my taste, but it's still a really fun setting.
I really do like the magic. I do really like the magic system in it for sure.
You could do something that would allow me to bring back Jolly Spice Bar.
Hey,
And you can always focus
we
on
could-
less magic as well, a little more greedy magic in Theranos.
I suppose I'll have to ask Ashok for more cold jokes.
oh fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm not gonna run that ever again.
Are you kidding? That was a fucking epic. I love
What?
that shit.
What?
No, that was good shit. Chris would stop a session halfway through. Hold on.
No,
Have
it
I
was part of the
told you
role
this
play.
joke.
It was part of the role play.
I know. It was good shit. It was good
Stand
shit
up on
for sure.
top of the bar and go, "Hey, I got a joke."
Well, you think you rolled the motivation that your character had a off sense of humor that no one else found, so you started looking up stupid snowman jokes to say constantly.
I
All
might
these
still have the
ice
link.
cold related jokes.
Yeah.
And the puns.
I might still have the link to those fucking things too. Here you go,
Something
snow
about-
jokes.
So, Jamie,
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to kind of touch on, I don't know, everybody has heard at the very beginning, because I had this that I was going to be the beginning of our segment here, but for me, I wanted to thank you because it was a statement from you that started this show. Chris and I had met at Con on the Cob, and we were talking, but we hadn't really come up with anything. And I came to you and I said, "Look, I'm looking at doing, a blog or a podcast about Genesys when it comes out." And Genesys was on its way. It was coming in December. We were talking about it a few months before it came out. We were all excited for it. And you said, "Don't do a fucking blog." And blogs are boring. No one reads them.
Yep.
The ones we have, the guys that are doing them because they love them. But they're an old form. Do podcast. And I hemmed and hawed over it, and I went and talked to Chris. Chris was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." But at the end of the day, it was do a podcast. Do a fucking podcast, Tony. That was you that really kind of put this ball going. And it became a tremendous, awesome, fun juggernaut of a show for a long time. 4 fucking years we've been doing this.
Yeah.
And
All over. Yep.
And so right off the get-go, I wanted to thank you for that because
Cheers
you put
to you,
this in
buddy.
motion, and cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Hey, cheers to you're welcome, but I will simply say I believe it was the Canadian whiskey that either Daryl or Stefan brought, because I was pretty fucking wasted when I was kind of corny.
I
I
must remember. I remember that conversation. All three of us were standing around a table.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
That
"Just
would
do a
be
fucking
me.
podcast." And Tony
Yeah, I
and I
was
looked at
wasted.
each other, and we're like, "All right,
Stefan.
let's do it."
Do a fucking
Yeah.
podcast, eh?
I think we
I
played
was
Og.
having-
I
Yeah.
think we had played Og at that point.
I remember that too, because I was super wasted and I was in that I won't take no for a fucking answer. Well, I don't know. No, you gotta fucking do it, man. Just fucking do it. It'd be
Yeah, I
fucking
guess
cool.
you were wasted, weren't you?
I was wasted, dude.
Yeah, fucking better run it, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, I mean,
hey,
yeah,
what is an
that-
IG? What is an IG?
Ig?
Yeah, it's a snow house without a loot. Oh,
Oh, for fuck's sake, dude.
there you go.
I lightning bolt him.
I'm out of
lightning
fucking
bolt
whiskey.
Ashok and myself.
Oh gosh. All right.
Hope you had the
Well,
link to that fucking website.
so the last thing I want to do is I've hinted at it all through the show, and it's the title of our show. We found the narrative. Now, Chris and I, when we sat down and were brainstorming names for our show, we started talking about, okay, what is this thing that is Genesys? What is it? Narrative dice system. That's where we got finding the narrative. But there was also something. And I think, Homie, you put it best when we first started. is that finding the narrative incorporates working together towards a common goal. And we have hinted at this from the first time we started doing the show. And I want to carry this forward to anyone who listens. The narrative is your fucking table. It's that circle of people that you sit down with at a computer or in person, and you create something together. Collaborative storytelling is the beginning, the ending of D&D and all things role-playing. And I think Genesys facilitates that for the players and the GM in ways that are unique to Genesys and create a unique narrative that only can come from Genesys and Star Wars and the narrative dice systems. And to me, that has been the meaning of our show, a collaborative. It was a whole before it was anything else. Homie and I decided from day one we were going to be a team, and if one of us said they were done, we're done. And then when we brought Stefan in, it became a new show, and we became a 3-man team. And when we were done, we were done. No me and Homie going on afterwards, or no Stefan and I going on afterwards, or vice versa. Always going to be that group. And I think that is what finding the narrative has always been about for me. And I think we found that together.
Yep. It's been my favorite threesome ever.
I was waiting on that.
I don't really know what to say after that, Stefan. But well said, Tony. I completely agree. I don't know what else to add. That was
another cheers,
said.
eh?
Cheers, eh?
Cheers.
I'm not quite done with this fireball.
Eh?
You're hosers.
Do
My
any
favorite
of you have
hosers,
something
eh?
you want to pipe in on that?
Yeah. Did we find a narrative? Do you guys think we did?
I think
Fuck
you
yeah,
did.
we did.
And I think what it, like, being part of
We
your
found
show,
it every
listening
episode.
into the podcast, I think that it educated listeners. It enhanced the listening experience. It kind of, in my mind, it helped people that weren't that creative, like moi-même, like myself in French, moi-même. It helped people be creative.
Bilingual, eh?
The best part of it was either actually playing or listening. You got to pick off other people's minds. You got to hear and use some of their ideas, and it's almost like osmosis. It forced you to be
Brainstorming.
creative and think outside the box, and it made you grow as a person, as a player. And it's not something that's inherent to all people, all players, all listeners, but it helped. And kudos to you guys. You did a great job. 100 episodes, top notch. I mean, it's something that helped everybody. I mean, at least in myself, whether I was playing or listening, it forced you. Well, I wouldn't use to force you. It's just listen to other people.
Encourages.
You encourages. You listened to it. You absorbed it, and you know what? You put it back. You reciprocated it. So you hopefully somebody else, all the listeners, got something and took this home with them. It was a great experience.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, and I think
Anybody else?
And I think with to add a little bit to that is that we didn't have maybe tons of listener feedback, but what we got was really good feedback whenever someone would pipe in or email or comment on our social media. They got something out of it, out of our show. They would share with us their experiences or inspirations that they got from us. That's kind of a cool way of finding the narrative, let's say. Instead of just around the gaming table, just talking about the gaming. If we help just a few people out there and they take up a bit of their time to comment and write to us, that's great. I mean, even those who didn't write in, if they managed to take away something positive from us, great. I hope we did help. Whether it's through boosting the signal, the 50 pieces of awesome, and even Tony's segment on the slab, the few here and there that we sprinkled here. I hope that we were able to help a few players here and there, game masters, whatever.
Well, from my point of view, I think that it inspired me to encourage other people. The advantageous threats that you guys did as a group, and how you spun them. Like there was an aliens one you did. Speaking of aliens, and I remember listening to it. I was cleaning or something. I had you on speaker, and I remember laughing so incredibly hard. And I remember somebody saying, "Well, Genesys can't do aliens." And I was like, "Well, just go to this episode at this minute." And they came back to me. They're like, "Okay, I'm going to go do an aliens game." And that person wrote an aliens system out of Genesys. So you may have had more rippling effect than you know. I think at one point in time, somebody said,
"Got a triumph."
Right, you had a triumph. I mean, those kinds of moments were inspiring to me. That's something that inspired me, actually. So
awesome.
Yeah,
great to hear.
It's definitely influencing other people. That's awesome.
The biggest thing I could say is you guys nailed the show title. First time I heard it, I was like, "Fuck,
Yeah,
pretty fucking good."
That was pretty fucking spot on, I gotta say.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking good. But other than that, I don't know, prior to me jumping on the call, but if it had been mentioned or not. But I think I talked to, Chris, Tony, and Stefan quite a few times about this. I was like, dude, for you guys to last as long as you have for a product that hasn't been supported in well over a year, pretty fucking good stuff.
Thanks.
That by itself is, well, I mean, I'll take any reason to drink right now. Fucking cheers, you guys.
There you go. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
But it's
But
true,
no.
though.
Well, we did try to riff off each other and get inspiration to try and prolong as much as possible. And, Tony's ideas, doing multiple session actual plays, kind of maybe evolved off of
that helped.
Little one shots that we did. And then
we had a couple ideas from some listeners as well to do some of the I think our free RPG day adventures that came from a user list listener idea and stuff. So
kind of to review those. Yeah.
Am I muted or are you all just fucking ignoring me?
Yes.
You were muted, stupid.
That whole fucking time.
What did you say, Tony?
I said a lot of shit, but who gives a fuck, right?
You dumbass.
All those golden moments lost in the ether.
They aren't lost, trust me. Hell, half the time I was talking over you guys.
All those nuggets of wisdom gone forever.
But no, that's hilarious, Daryl.
It's a good thing you're cute.
When? Where?
My camera's off. So.
What I was trying to say was that I fucking lost it. Forget it. I can't remember. God damn it. No,
take another drink.
No, what I was going to say is
he lost the narrative.
Stefan for shouting out to our listeners that wrote in, because we had a handful of them that were dedicated to writing into us on the regular. Michael Miklashin, I can think of. Cody Doolittle. Steven, I'm sorry, I can't remember your last name because there's about 1,000 Stevens in my life.
There's a few others. There was another Chris had to be early on, the first couple of years when we were still on MeWe a lot.
Yes. And all of those guys that wrote us and gave us either a show topic or something to just riff off of, or shared their experiences with us. So there were many a time where people would just send us a document for us to check out. I'm doing this for my setting, and it's a list of talents that they had done for their setting, and every single one of you that have been out there in the community creating for your own games, people who've been putting things out on the Foundry. And I kind of tied that in with what Jamie had said. You are what has kept Genesys going during the slump of the transition from Fantasy Flight to Edge. It is this community that creating things and putting out new stuff on the Foundry or on the Drive-Thru RPG that has been holding the community together. There's a lot of good stuff out there. And I know it's not official Genesys stuff, and that turns some people off to it. But so much of it is, and Darren, yours especially, is all done with love and care and the same quality that you're getting from the Fantasy Flight, aka Edge Studios folks.
Yeah. And even before the Foundry, when we were doing the 50 Pieces of Awesome segment, the folks that just shared with the community their free stuff, and we wanted to showcase. We couldn't show. There was so much of it. I wanted to showcase so much. We wanted to do one a show, but there was so much of you guys that was just throwing great stuff out there. The genres that you loved, everything from, I believe the early. I don't know. There were so many things. I can't even name them all. But there were so many different things.
Well, Chris, before the Drive-Thru RPG and Foundry came on, there was a couple that you highlighted before. Salvage, that was a great one. That was revised later on. That even better. It looks extremely professional. There was your friend. Your friend who came up with their homebrew system with his kids, Cinemas.
Yep. That was Brian. Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome. I know you shared that PDF with them. I mean, for someone who made this for their own, it was great.
There was somebody out there. One that just popped in my head was Cowboys and Dinosaurs. I can't remember what they called it, but that was freaking amazing. And folks just converting Warhammer. I don't know. Shadowrun. Warcraft. I mean, just
Harry Potter.
Many. Harry Potter, just everything. It was so great. Yeah. Yeah.
We've been frogged. All right. Well, guys, this had to end at some point.
Yep.
Yes.
So a round of toast.
More.
To the future of gaming, to gaming more with all of you in the future.
Yes.
To possibly making it down to Texas to not only see Jamie, but to come down to Plano and play some Genesys or other games with all of the folks down there at Gamer Nation Con.
Yep, Darren, we're looking at you.
I believe my daughter is moving to Oklahoma City, so I will be definitely going down there. Could be visiting down there.
Just a couple of hours.
And
there we go.
So to the future of gaming, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cheers, fuckers.
More dice to be thrown, more bones.
Oh, yes.
More chicken bones.
Baby.
Best chicken bone game ever.
If everything works out, I think I'm going to wind up like 20 minutes from Plano.
Nice.
That's awesome.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Give me more reason to go down there. So
Sweet.
I never wanted to visit the land of fruit and nuts, but
hey, you know what, Tony? Let's meet in Kansas City. Tony, meet me in Kansas City for some barbecue.
Oh no, we're meeting in Chicago. We're picking up Matt, and we're all going down.
That's out of my way. I'm taking 30. I'm hopping on 35E,
Yeah,
hitting 35, and going south. That's it.
That's a long drive.
Me and Stephanie will kidnap Matt.
It's like
Chloroform goes a long way.
12 hours from Chicago to Oklahoma City, so then another 12 to Texas.
If Stefan shows up with a rag or a sock in his hand, duck.
Run that.
He says, "Does it smell like chloroform to you?"
Dude, he knows that. He knows that trick. I'm not gonna spring that on.
He's already ducked that obstacle once.
If you duck forward or back, you're still screwed. You just run.
Pull out a tranquilizer gun.
Oh, good shit. Yeah. All right. So we're going to sign each of you off here for the ending of the show. If you want to hang around after we finish the recording and bullshit some more, that's fine. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to outro here with you guys, and then we'll do our own outro. So I have to start with somebody, so I'm going to start with the man who's frozen up here, Matt. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for playing with us. Thank you for being on the couple of shows that you've been on, and thank you for being a part of my future and past of gaming.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for playing. Who did you play in the? You played Space Ghost.
Space Ghost. Yeah.
Yes.
Space Ghost.
Yes.
Awesome Space Ghost.
Do you have any final words you want to say on anything?
Just thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry to hear you guys going off the airwaves, but it's got to happen eventually. So
Better to be done on our terms.
That's right.
Yep.
True that.
Yep. Thank you, Matt.
That's right.
All right.
Thanks,
Good
bud.
night, Matt. Daryl?
Well, I know all good things come to an end. I'm hoping to.
Yeah, but this wasn't that good.
Well, it was that good. Yeah, whether I participated in your podcast or listened to it or played through your various actual plays, it was a lot of fun. It was an experience, and you guys taught a lot of listeners. And I'm kind of hoping to take that and put into whatever I decide to run in the future, which most likely will be D&D, but I'll add that flair to it. The narrative is always a good thing to include in a game to teach players. And well, thank you for the experience. I've been in quite a few of your games. In fact, there's a reason why I'm called a gaming hoe. And I think lately, you know what I mean? I've been in so many Chris's games, Tony, Stefan's games, and I swear to God, I play more with Tony than so many other people lately. It's incredible. But thanks, guys. It's been.
You guys should get married.
Yeah.
Well,
wife's jealous. Just saying.
But yeah, I'll just hand over the liquor. Might be better exchange.
Yeah, she probably would take that to bed and leave me and you alone.
Whatever works, whatever floats your boat. But
Yeah.
such a large coming your
Exactly.
way. But thank you, gentlemen. It's been a very educational and fun experience.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thanks,
Yes,
Daryl.
thank you.
Darren, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you
man.
for taking a few moments out of your busy schedule. We appreciate it.
Well, I love you
Big
guys.
hugs.
This is not the end. This is
No, it's
just
not.
this is just a pause until we all get together and just paint the town. I fully expect some maple whiskey.
Mhm.
And Daryl,
And awkward
as far
hugs.
as awkwardly long hugs. And Daryl, as far as your D&D game, Realms of Terranoth.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great introductory adventure out there. What
There's
was that
one
called?
out there. There's a
Yeah.
couple.
There's a couple of them actually.
There's a
It's
lot.
like a shards of what?
Some weirdo wrote something. Never gonna
Hearts,
get that
hearts, shards.
heart something. But in the end, I want to award all of you 50 pieces of awesome because
Oh,
you really are. You've really brought a lot to a lot of people, including myself. 50 pieces of awesome was why I was inspired to do so well on my adventure. I really wanted 50 pieces of awesome, so you guys definitely deserve 50 pieces of awesome in my book.
Well, we have 150 pieces now hanging around, so there are 150 of them all back to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll drink to that.
thanks, Darren. Appreciate that, man.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Jamie, you joined us late, but you still contributed quite a bit. Again, like I said, with the beginning of the show, it was your drunken urgings, I guess, that sent us in motion. But
That sounds nasty, Tony.
I know, and
Just the kind of comment we love on this show.
I'm
Yay!
channeling my inner Stefan. Leave me be, damn it. But my friend, thank you so much for everything you've given to us and to this show.
Mhm.
And that you gave us opportunities to run great adventures on your channel, your YouTube channel. The brewery was an outlet for me that I never expected when you offered for me to join. And thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Fuck you guys.
All right.
Fuck
Fantastic. Fantastic inspirational words there, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I have one more thing to say to you, Jamie.
He left.
Oh! Oh! He hung up on him.
No, I removed him from the call.
Oh,
He used to do to people on his show all the time.
Using my own shit against me, man. That is fucking good.
That right there, 5-star pearl of wisdom, baby.
Right. Episode.
No, or fuck you guys. That was awesome. Now, it was cool. It was great, dude. I appreciate everything, dude. I love, again, podcast here or not. Yes, it's goodbye for your listeners or whatever. But like I said, dude, we made lifelong friends, and I can't wait to just game with you guys more and game in person and lock Stefan in somebody's bathroom, and the rest of us can hang out.
Duct tape
As long
to the wall.
as there's a small window, I can get out.
Shit, we're gonna have to sacrifice Blaine and lock him in there with him.
Hey, Blaine,
Okay,
there's
for-
Jesus in the bathroom. What?
Or Matt.
Oh yeah, there is a price being there's money being talked about here for beer.
$20.
tuggers.
It's $20. I heard.
That's right. $20
It is.
$20.
All right. Well, and that being said, we're gonna go ahead and head over into our outro.
Okay. All right. Well, I made it through. Didn't cough too much in your guys' ear, I'm hoping. But thank you all again for joining. Yes, Jamie. That's the one eye. He's like zoomed way the fuck in on his Skype cam. And
Cyclopean.
Cyclopean, Thulian Cyclops.
Is it the brown eye?
No, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
And thank you to my two co-hosts, my brothers. It's been a hell of a ride.
It has.
Loved it.
Yep.
It's been great.
Yep, love it.
It's been so great. Thank you.
I-
I've got just a little bit more, couple more toast here, I think. So to you guys.
To you.
Yeah, and to you as well. I loved that you
Fuck
asked me to join. So
Mhm.
I had great fun with you guys. Couldn't be better. Better co-hosts. It was great, and friends, of course. Made great friends in this community, from the Nerds International onwards. Met a lot of people. Sometimes you lose contact with some, but you keep the ones who really click with.
Right.
Seems so. Glad find a nice core, and we're still friends, and I hope
Brothers
friends
for life.
forever. Yeah. We'll found an old gamer's home, and we'll all retire at the same place and in game. Instead of bingo, we'll just have game night.
I'm not sleeping anywhere near you.
Right. Whoever wins the lottery, man.
I think with walkers, you still have a chance. Or
I know I'm safe. Trust me. As long as Matt's there, I'm good.
Yeah.
So
No, we just need to bring Blaine in there. As long as Blaine's there, we're
Jamie,
fine.
he's
Right.
got a hierarchy,
Yep.
I'm like 14th fiddle, and I'm okay with that. So no,
that means you still have a chance. So.
Exactly. I mean, you're not that discerning, so we'll give you that.
And the more my memory goes, like, Blaine, is that you?
Lady boy.
Oh gosh.
All right.
No,
Soapy
thank
there,
you.
Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stefan, for when you, like I said, when you joined us, it made the whole new show, and it became a great, fun, new thing, and it was all of the above. Chris, thanks for sticking out with the COVID, man. You got the vid, and you chugged through, motherfucker. You did that shit like nobody. You whooping COVID's ass, brother.
I think 3-4 fingers of Fireball helped.
Mm-hmm. Pickle
Wow. As well. Fuck. Ugh.
I mean, my kid's got a sinus infection. That little pussy couldn't show up, so
It's all right. It's evidently disease. I'm fine.
You got the fucking plague in your ear.
I got the plague in me.
That's it.
So, Stefan, did we have any listeners that were brave enough to write us for the final show?
Unfortunately, no.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Well, thank them anyway.
Yeah,
Thank all of you that did right.
Exactly. Yeah. No. A few wrote back a few weeks ago when they heard, of course, that we were winding down, that they were sad, that but they understand that some of the reasons. Some of them reached out to me and asked why. It's like, well, things happen, and I think we all agreed that even if one of us wasn't as motivated or and other reasons, that we would just simply agree to stop it, and we agreed to stop it on our own terms, like you said, Tony. So, and Chris, you suggested a nice round number of 100. It was awesome. Yeah. So we managed to finish it out on a high note, which is always good.
Well, end of
instead
last
of pod
year,
fading.
Yeah, I mean, fall of last year, we were so close to 100. It's like, oh my God, we've come this close. Let's just work out what we wanted to do. We had a couple of ideas. We had an idea for, I think I was still in the middle of running the actual play. We had an idea for your actual play. We had a couple of more ideas for some more episodes that we figured we could get to 100, and we figured let's just do it. And because it's a hell of a milestone, I'm glad we made it. And 100 episodes for all of you out there to absorb. So,
yep.
All right. Well, the email's still out there. If you want to say hi to us, if you want to say your farewells, you can still write us at findingthenarrativepodcast@gmail.com. The Facebook will keep up for a while. I'm going to shut down the Mayway because I don't use it, so we won't be using that anymore. And I don't know about the Twitter.
I'll keep up for a while, at least, because sometimes there's stuff that I follow, other podcast groups. Sometimes I try to retweet and share a few things. Maybe at least for a year, we'll see. But I'll keep it up there.
All right, and we're always going to be out there. We're going to keep hosting the site for the podcast. It'll be out there for many years to come. For those who are worried that you're not going to be able to listen to back episodes or go back and listen to one to get what the hell were they talking about when they did an alien thing. That is still out there, and it's going to be available at Finding the Narrative Podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and more. Now, I wanted to shout out to all those people who've been downloading and just give you a couple of figures. Just so you know here how far we reached. So every month we would have, most of our downloads are in the United States, but we had Canada, Denmark, United Kingdom, Australia, Estonia, Hungary, Italy, Mexico, Poland, Israel. We had probably 6-7 others that would show up off and on of people downloading our shows across the world. And just blows my mind that people listen to me. 30% of those pulled them off of Apple Podcasts. 11% pulled them off of Google Podcasts. 32.1% pulled them off of Music Bee.
How do we get on Music Bee? What the fuck is that?
Don't know where. I think that's a podcatcher. Because I use Podcast Addict as a podcatcher, but it actually pulls from Podbean.
Awesome.
There are others. Castbox, direct from Podbean, Audible, Overcast. There are others out there. To all those people that downloaded us for 101 episodes of this show, because we did do an episode 0.
It was about a half an hour. Our shortest show ever. Just to introduce who we were, our concept for the show, what we were going to do.
Thank all of you, our listeners. You have made this ride worthwhile.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we did it for you. Like we said, wanted to find the narrative, and we did.
That's it.
It is what it is.
We did it for the love of the game, the hobby, the community, and for you guys. So
this is Tony saying, one last time, let's tell a story. Spend a fucking story point.
This is Stefan saying, always ask for a boost dice. Never stop. Be annoying. Give me some now. Come on. Can I get one now?
Shut up.
Come
Take more.
Thank you.
Well, this is Chris saying, remember the rule of cool. Always listen to your Thulian Cyclops if he tells you to start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you're fortunate enough to have one. And just have fun doing it if you do one.
But find your own. We have our own Cyclops. Find your own.
That's right. Well,
cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye. Love you. Kiss you in naughty places.
Oh, God, there she is again.
Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast, is not affiliated with or endorsed by any companies mentioned on this show. Any of the products mentioned on our show or appear on our website are the property and copyright of their respected owners. All items are used under fair use and educational and review purposes. All other items are the intellectual property of Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast. Copyright
2022.
All rights reserved.